In the early years of the American Revolution, heroes emerged in many forms: soldiers, generals, and even ordinary citizens. But one hero stood out, not because of her battlefield achievements or political influence, but because of her unwavering courage on a dark, rainy night. This is the remarkable story of Sybil Ludington, a 16-year-old girl who, in April 1777, rode through the perilous wilderness to rally militia forces in defense of her town and her country. The American Revolution was in full swing, and tensions between the American colonists and British forces were at their peak. Small skirmishes had turned into large-scale battles, and the fight for independence was spreading like wildfire across the colonies. In the town of Fredericksburg, New York, now Ludingtonville, Sybil's father, Colonel Henry Ludington, was in charge of the local militia, a group of farmers and citizens who had taken up arms to fight for freedom. On the night of April 26, 1777, the Ludington household was plunged into chaos. A messenger arrived, drenched in rain and panic-stricken, bearing terrible news. British troops, led by General William Tryon, had begun a raid on Danbury, Connecticut, just across the state line. Danbury was a vital supply depot for the Continental Army, filled with weapons, ammunition, and food. If it fell into British hands, the American war effort could suffer a crippling blow. Colonel Ludington was tasked with rallying his troops to defend Danbury, but there was one problem: the militia was scattered across the countryside, many of them miles away on their farms. To muster them quickly, someone had to ride through the night to spread the alarm and gather the troops. The messenger who had brought the news was too exhausted to continue, and time was running out. That's when Sybil, without hesitation, stepped forward. Though only 16, Sybil was no stranger to the challenges of war. She had grown up in a patriotic family, and her father's role in the militia had exposed her to the dangers that faced the colonies. Knowing the urgency of the situation, Sybil mounted her horse, Star, and set out on her dangerous journey. The night was cold, and the rain poured down in torrents. The roads were rough, muddy, and barely more than trails winding through dense forests. Bandits, British loyalists, and wild animals lurked in the dark, making the ride even more treacherous. But Sybil pressed on, determined to complete her mission. Over the next 40 miles, she rode through the night, stopping at farmhouses and small villages, pounding on doors, and shouting, "The British are coming. Muster at Ludington's." As she called out, she could see the lights flicker on inside the homes, men grabbing their rifles and gear, preparing to join the fight. Her route took her through Putnam County and parts of Dutchess County, covering a distance far longer than the famed ride of Paul Revere. Sybil's mission wasn't just about distance, it was about the sheer bravery it took to undertake such a journey alone. At one point during the ride, she narrowly avoided capture by British soldiers, relying on her knowledge of the backwoods to escape. Her horse galloped tirelessly through the night, driven by Sybil's courage and sense of duty. By dawn, exhausted and soaked to the bone, Sybil returned home. Thanks to her bravery, nearly 400 men were gathered and prepared to march to Danbury. Though the British managed to burn part of the town, the militia's efforts, led by Colonel Ludington, helped harass the British troops and force them to retreat back to their ships. The supplies that could be salvaged were saved, and Danbury's residents were protected from further harm. Despite the significance of her actions, Sybil Ludington's name didn't achieve the same level of recognition as other figures of the Revolution. In fact, her story was largely forgotten until it was rediscovered in the early 20th century. Today, however, she is rightly celebrated as one of the unsung heroines of the American Revolution. In the years following the war, Sybil lived a quiet life. She married and had children, but she never sought fame for her midnight ride. In 1935, a statue was erected in her honor in Carmel, New York, near the route she had ridden on that fateful night. The image of Sybil on horseback, her face determined and resolute, serves as a lasting tribute to the bravery of a young girl who risked everything to help secure her nation's freedom. Though Sybil Ludington's ride may not be as well known as Paul Revere's, her story is a powerful reminder of the countless unsung heroes whose courage and selflessness helped shape the history of the United States. Her midnight ride was not just a single act of bravery, it was a testament to the spirit of the American Revolution, a movement that was fueled by ordinary people willing to do extraordinary things for the sake of liberty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about Sybil Ludington's incredible story, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more fascinating historical tales. Let us know in the comments which unsung hero you'd like to hear about next. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family so we can keep these important stories alive. See you in the next adventure.